as consumers, you can expect some relief on your fuel bills, but ChatGPT may soon replace you in exam halls, while time is ticking for Indian techies in the USA as they realize that their technology can be a double-edged weapon. More on these on Business Plus, your definitive edge to business and economy. Good news for Indians as petrol and diesel prices could drop down. Despite surging international crude oil prices, remember, state-owned oil manufacturing companies, the OEMs, have maintained fuel prices since April of 2020, the biggest price freeze in nearly 2 decades. Now, with crude prices edging lower, these companies are recouping losses, and the benefit could soon be passed on to consumers. India's Minister for Petroleum, Hardeep Singh Puri, has indicated that a reduction in petrol prices could be in offing due to the softening of international crude oil prices. Let me explain to you the math behind petrol and diesel to understand how the prices work. Now, price charged by oil manufacturing constitutes about 42% of the retail price of petrol. 31% go to the centre in form of excise duty, 23% to the state government as VAT, and about 4% goes to the dealers as commission. Diesel prices to have a similar price breakup as well. Now, as oil companies take the major chunk, fuel prices cannot be lowered significantly unless their cost comes down. Last year, surging prices had forced state oil companies to take a loss on diesel. Petrol, however, remained profitable. Currently, the 3 state-owned oil manufacturing companies, the Indian Oil Corporation (IOC), Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited (BPCL), and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited (HPCL), incur a loss of about 13 rupees a litre on diesel and made a profit of about 5 to 6 rupees on petrol. This is a major improvement from the peak loss of more than 17 rupees per litre on petrol and nearly 28 rupees a litre on diesel as of June 2022. Now, petrol and diesel prices in India have not changed since April of 2022, even as crude prices have surged beyond $100 per barrel. Holding the prices constant came a huge cost for the oil manufacturing companies. Their combined net losses stood at about 21,000 crores in the April to September quarter. The government is also said to be working on a compensation package for the 3 retailers to make up for the losses they incurred in last year. Now, if you're not living under the proverbial rock by now, you must have surely heard about ChatGPT, the AI tool that can answer questions, perform translations, and even generate human-like responses to queries. But can it clear your exams for you? Well, the chatbot passed Bulletin's MBA exam, and that too with a solid grade. The news has set off alarm bells for academics and those looking for jobs alike. ChatGPT cleared the Operations Management course, a core MBA subject, with a B to B- grade on the exam. ChatGPT, also the generative pre-trained transformer, is a type of language model that can respond to user queries with summarized information in short and simple sentences. There has been a long-standing debate on the uses of ChatGPT, but the revelation that it cleared a complex exam could have implication for education as well as employment. For instance, compare the effect electronic calculators had on the corporate world. The value of hundreds of employees whose task was to manually perform mathematical operation was drastically decreased overnight, making them redundant. Now, ChatGPT could have a similar impact on skilled workforce with an MBA. To tap into the growing opportunity it presents, software giant Microsoft has been eyeing a $10 billion investment in OpenAI, the venture behind ChatGPT. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft Corporation, recently spoke of the potential of ChatGPT at the World Economic Forum. Microsoft is betting big on artificial intelligence and is said to be integrating the technology into its emails, slideshows, and spreadsheets. Nadella's remark come at a time when the company is expected to lay off as many as 10,000 employees. And shifting focus now, while technology is threatening to eat up jobs at a faster clip in the near future, sagged Indian IT professionals in the US are racing against time. As if getting laid off wasn't demoralizing enough, Indian IT professionals have a fast-ticking deadline to find a new job, to hold on to their work visas. Tech giants like Google, Microsoft, Facebook and Amazon are on a sacking spree. Media reports put the number of laid-off IT workers in the US at nearly 2 lakh up to date. 30 to 40% of them are Indian IT professionals, a significant number of whom are on H-1B visa and L-1 visas. It has had a devastating impact on the families of Indian IT professionals who now have to deal with sale of properties and disruption of children's education in their homes if they don't get a job and their visa expires. Now, according to the rules, those on H-1B visas have to find a new job within 60 days or else they would be left with no other options but to head back to India. And adding to their miseries is Google's latest decision to pause its green card processing in the near future. Now, in signs that the current uncertainty will continue, a new survey by business economists suggests that the job market in the US is all set to shrink even further. 20% of America's corporates say that employment at their companies will fall in the coming months. The interest rates are rising and profit margins are also falling. 40% of American companies' profit margins have declined in the past 3 months. Shifting focus and moving on to a story coming from Eurozone. Eurozone looks set to be out of the clutches of impending recession, and that's according to new surveys by economists. Last month, the same economists had predicted a long-drawn recession for most European nations this year. But this month's surveys found that they now expect Eurozone to log a 0.1% year-on-year growth in 2023. So what changed? Softening energy prices, fiscal support, and an earlier than expected reopening of China may drive global recovery this year. Now, in 2021, Europe procured almost 40% of its energy requirements from Russia. However, in a spate of sanctions last year, the EU phased out 90% of Russian oil. But reports say that in recent months, Europe has been successful in filling its gas storage, which has significantly reduced fears of a gas shortage. This, in effect, has lowered the chances of a recession from an estimated 90% last summer to just 30% now. Moderation in natural gas prices could also help Europe escape recession. JP Morgan raised its 2023 Eurozone GDP growth forecast to 0.5%. This after it cut down its expectation of natural gas prices by half, from 155 euros per megawatt hour to just about 76 euros as of now. Meanwhile, economists at Goldman Sachs have also concurred that a demand growth in China would boost European trade significantly, especially in Germany. Some economists, however, foresee a mild recession, if not a full-blown economic crisis in making. They expect the Eurozone economy to still contract for 2 successive quarters. And shifting focus, in a boost to Make in India campaign, iPhone maker Apple is looking to scale up its operations in India. The news comes on the back of Apple making history as the first company to export smartphones worth $1 billion in a single month from India. Now, Indian Union Minister for Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal said that Apple already has about 5 to 7% of its manufacturing done in India, and it's looking to take that up to 25% of all that it makes globally. Apple is producing and exporting many iPhone models from India, including the latest iPhone 14. Now, Apple exported iPhones worth 8,100 crores in December of 2022, which took the overall industry exports of smartphones to 10,000 crores for the month. According to government estimates, mobile phones exports from India will be worth $9 billion for the current financial year. And that's all we have in this edition of Business Plus. For more incisive news analysis and cutting-edge documentaries, keep streaming News 9 Plus. Thank you.